This tutorial is going to show you how to reconcile pay and/or invoices, then export the information for use in a payroll package, and, on rare occasions, undo locked reconciles. By reconciliation, we mean the process of taking already entered hours, days, or weeks worked and performing all the intricate calculations necessary to generate a complete payroll or invoice export. If you are starting with the menu button screen, there are specific buttons for doing payroll and invoice, but they are also accessible via the Utilities menu, where you have Invoice and Reconcile Pay options. The Utilities menu is available in most screens. In this example, we will go to the timesheet screen and select a worker and a period. This displays the shift and information useful for confirming timesheet information. For this example, we shall select December the 30th to January the 8th. We will immediately see the shifts for the worker over that period. At the top right of the screen, we have a ticked total and the total number of hours for this particular selection of shifts. To enable a shift to be included in a payroll or invoice run, all you need to do is tick it in the tick column by double-clicking on the corresponding cell. If you're in an environment where timesheets are not manually checked, there are simple options to either automatically tick uncancelled shifts or cancel unticked shifts after a given number of days depending on your working environment. For this example, we are showing the fully manual process. Any ticked shift will be included in the next invoice or pay run. You might be in a situation where the person has finished later or started earlier. If, say, they have finished later, we can double click on the finish time and either enter the new finish time, or we can hit the plus key to add increments of 15 minutes to the finish time. Any changes are automatically included in the column for the total time worked. We can also edit the break at this point. Breaks can be included or excluded from invoice or payroll calculations on a rate card by rate card basis. Breaks are always included in terms of total hours worked calculations. If we tick another shift, we can see the tick total has increased. In a situation where the totals were the same as the timesheet and a cursory glance showed that the times were correct, we can click on the Confirm All button and they would all automatically be ticked. Doing this, we can see that it has stopped at January the 7th. This is because in this example the computer thinks the current date is January the 7th and the remaining shifts have not yet been completed. AVA will only tick shifts that have been completed by the current date and time. Now we can go to Utilities and select Reconcile Pay. Although the pay and invoicing process are very similar, the system can cope with more than one invoicing company, meaning you can run 2 or 3 companies and have people working to the same database for 2 or 3 companies for efficient tax reasons, VAT, etc. The default is All, and we shall select All, which automatically selects all companies by default. You can, if you want, reconcile for a particular pay scale, aka rate card, but usually you would select All. You can reconcile pay weekly, monthly, or daily if you wish, and you can run all 3 simultaneously on the same system and database, meaning you can have 3 groups of employees with different paying periods. On the right we have a date which was the last payroll run. It is an L by it, which signifies it has been locked off. Locked shifts can't be changed, so information exported to a payroll or invoice system will always be consistent. There is a separate accounting mechanism for changing payments and invoices after they have been processed. Selecting a new reconcile date for the 8th, we can click on Reconcile Payroll. At this point it will collect the details for each shift, its rate card, and calculate the payments. Occasionally you can have a situation whereby you have a new customer's rate card on the system that hasn't been fully set up. You don't necessarily want that to stop you booking shifts to them. If the data is incomplete, you want it to flag up that fact. The system will do that by an exception report. This is the exception report, and we can copy this list to the clipboard, or we could add items to the task list and come back and use the task list to go to the item and resolve the incomplete rate card. The next window we can see is the same thing but shows clearly we have a new customer that we are supplying to and they haven't been set up fully. So we can see the exception shifts were found on the system. The 4 we just ticked were reconciled and that there's going to be 4 in the reconciliation. We will cover resolving incomplete rate cards in a separate video. Note that we are going to ignore for now the reconcile for the new customer and run them separately later. Don't worry, they will not go away. Prior to export to any third-party payroll or invoice system, or to simply avoid additional shifts being added accidentally, we lock the run. An L appears by the date to signify the run has been locked. Now we can export the information to whatever export system we have, Sage, QuickBooks, or indeed custom software, factoring or payroll agencies. We will supply custom export formats if you have a custom payroll package. To get that to work, we simply click Send to Disk, and it has exported those records. If for some reason we wanted to edit the locked run, we can press the Oops button. We get a warning message which says, do you want to edit the full reconciliation or part of it, which allows you to unwrap it to a certain date. We want to do the full one, so we click Yes, and it is now unlocked. We can now go and tick another shift, reconcile, and go through the process again. Once again, we will get the shifts included which were the incomplete rate cards. So we get the lists again, which will disappear once we set up the rate card. We then lock it and go to the export window again. So very quickly, with a small number of clicks, we've reconciled pay, locked the run, exported the information for use in a payroll package, and undone a locked reconcile.